Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast. I'm your host, Imperial Game Video, here to one on Langraskaya, the fields of Langraskaya. So, fieldy, we shall be watching Zell here fighting for the Soviet Union, rolling out under the banners of the 26th Rifle Corps versus Sturmtiger Giap, fighting for Germany, for the Reich, and the 3rd SS Panzerdivision Totenkopf. Engineers moving out the concept up there. Looks like he might be rushing straight for the fuel point. Rather interesting opening there from Zell. The Giap here setting up an initial infantry company and then swiftly heading westwards. Commanders are short rifle, guard motor, and conscript support tactics. It's been a bit of a while since we've seen that one in action. Versus Giap here with assault support, mobile defense, and Jäger armor. Back to Zell though. Points are initially being secured here and there. In fact, he is very much rushing for the fuel point. An interesting opening here, a very bold opening here from Zell, in fact. And usually you imagine it's sort of here, but he's actually going for the one closest to his opponent. That definitely speaks of some confidence there. Or at least some very large brass balls. Grenadiers here arriving slowly but surely for Giap. Bit of barbed wire here. This territory is ours. To deny cover, and likely also some firewood to the enemy.
Conscripts here.
So initial heavy focus here on the west from Giap. Very slow though, comparatively. He's not getting nearly as much territory as his opponent. Though granted, Zell at the same time with this kind of rush really hasn't secured much either. So in fact, in essence, Giap has more territory than his opponent, though of course that will soon change. In fact, Zell will very quickly gain the fuel advantage and the munitions advantage. Still very, very interesting. In fact, we know that he's not, in fact, wiring off. This is probably going to make him a direct approach towards the cutter point here much more difficult to achieve. Not bad, not bad. Grenadiers holding up. Here coming on the 5. We do see quickly here that Zell reacts with 2 counter squad pushing back the Grenadiers. Nice reaction there. Mine engagement, the combat is falling a bit back. Probably won't be able to lay down a mine to slow down the German attackers. We're knowing here another Grenadier squad. They're arriving for Giap. 3 Grenadiers so far. 3 conscripts for Zell.
Soldiers ready. This now belongs to the people and workers of the Soviet Union.
Looks like things will intensify around the fuel point for the time being. Giap does not continue down the path here. You can also see that Zell is rapidly taking up position inside the house here, gaining a bit of an idea of what his opponent's moving course can also further harass him from the building. And they're going to attempt for the fuel pump again, calling down here, but the conscripts just need to stay in cover, and they will largely win here against the Grenadiers. But no, the Grenadiers are actually quick to fall back, drawing in Zell. Does have a Molotov. In fact, he can use this small chance here to quickly get off on the Molotov. Though we do see Dmitri going down rather rapidly, and MD42 around, seeing the rest of Giap's troops moving up here. Grenadiers not in a very, very bad position. Need to retreat. Zurückfahren, Leute! Die Feind ist here. But there we go, Giap's men pushing up from their flank, might trying to hook up behind the conscripts and thus be able to punch a bit harder the troop. But no, Zell reacts here with flawless timing, realizing that the time has passed for him to do anything, and quickly pulls back here. A good case of unit preservation again, realizing he can't do an awful lot more damage to his opponent. He will instead end up suffering needless losses, in which case he retreats, preserving manpower and overall squad integrity, also minimizing the chance of him losing a unit on retreat. Solid fought there, solid handling. Good case of unit preservation there.
Fresh conscripts have
Not to say that Giap is displaying poor preservation either, but just thought that Zell's right there was a much strong case. Was an example of it. We've seen failure units arriving, we've seen 4 Grenadiers, 1 MD42 here for Giap. Zell once more realizing that things are about to get awfully hot. Rapidly pulls back as the MD42 is slowly locked forwards. MG42.
There are no cowards here.
Conscripts sneaking about.
Riflemen ready.
Conscripts closing forwards. Grenadiers moving up and using a rather heavy approach from Giap. Could he be taking up now then? Also no command so far from Zell. And there go Pioneers trying to make it to the small cover. Not that, but ultimately the conscripts being too many, too numerous, too heavily armed, rapidly forced retreating. Seeing here that Zell's make up for a pretty hard right flank push. MD42 get caught off a bit. Was prepared for an assault towards here. Not here. And now we do see Giap is reacting, trying to come up, but at the same time the Molotovs here can make it very difficult to reposition an MG42, and there we go. Zell's reaction is swift, merciless and frangible. there we go, the MG42 is like going to be pushed back from here. And now he unleashes his full fury attack from numerous angles as possible, catching Giap's troops in numerous very bad positions. The MG42 caught out in the open. Molotovs again, he's hoping his best there to get the MG42. Looks like Giap will be able to save it out this time, but the Grenadiers are simply caught in a murderous crossfire, a kill zone. Simply have to get out. Although, in a small twist, Zell actually ends up losing a conscript squad here. The Grenadiers somehow managing to pull it off despite everything, perhaps because Zell was a bit too preoccupied here with this little nasty situation here. So very, very small victory for Giap in this engagement. He might have been forced back, he might have lost some troops, but ultimately he was able to exterminate one squad. Although Zell's response is noticeably heavy armor, a shock trooper squad arriving, PVH-41s, body armor, grenades, and smoke grenades.
We will defend it to the death.
Pretty dedicated heavy assault troops. Ready to cause some harm and awkward encounters. Medic bunker up here for Giap. And you're forcing up Pioneers from victory point.
How can we help?
What is it?
Shock troops can now be used to crush the enemy.
Bit of quiet.
Waiting for your command.
Bit by bit, we take back what is ours.
We have it.
We are taking infantry fire!
Grenadiers are still holding up there. They could consider light machine gun, but I don't think Giap has the munitions for it.
Awaiting enemy contact!
But I suppose it allows them to keep an eye on things here. Also ensures they can't rush the building itself, but at the same time the shock troops and the conscripts ultimately prove to be too much of a threat. They're forcing the Grenadiers out lest Giap lose it.
Engineer standing by.
That would certainly be my reasoning for getting them out. And it actually shifts over to another building.
Yes, comrade.
A bit further away, in fact, shifts over like Grenadiers squad in it. Light machine gun is actually moving up, that's good. MG4 up, going to cover here, but at the same time exposed to the broadside here of the building.
We are taking fire!
Shock troops moving up from another side, lots of grenades inside the building. Light machine guns available as well. But there you go, grenade goes off. Kills poor Heinrich.
Ready to train good Soviet
Light machine guns got shock troops here, continuing, flanking about, moving about. Quick rifle grenade here versus the building itself. And there he actually takes up position inside the house. That's an interesting approach here. Since basically he just needs to stay at range then, and the shock troops will be largely ineffective. But no, quickly gets out of the once you maybe realise that grenades are getting more tough. Constantly popping more than one squad into the building. Interesting. I mean, overall I should take more mind of the windows. There we go, the shock troops get pushed back. Zell's luck ultimately not carrying him that far. And Giap really pushing his luck in return with some heavily depleted Grenadier squads moving forwards in the hopes of taking back some territory, keeping up some pressure upon his opponent. And right here he does seem to bait his opponent into leave the field point with a heavily depleted Grenadier squad with a light machine gun. Maybe that was actually his intent. That would certainly have been an interesting idea if that is what in fact Giap did. Though it could easily have backfired on him, to be honest.
With the enemy! Ready and willing! The enemy has
Also a small unit here, moving about, taking part of the lighter mechanized company up for Giap. Shock rifle, by the way, has been chosen, and we're noting 82mm mortar up here for Zell. Adding a bit of light artillery, and half-track mobilizing for Giap.
Engineer standing by.
A bit quiet though otherwise. Falling back here, not a bad idea. He probably wasn't aware of the mortar. Though ultimately having MG42 that exposed, as he's probably already realised, might not be such a good idea. Mittelschützenband's Panzerwagen pulling up as well with its machine guns. Also, fun fact, the gunner right here, the one mounting the front gun, was actually also the commander of the vehicle, issuing orders and all that. So, a little fun fact there.
Well done, comrades. The point is ours.
Points being secured.
Engineer squad.
Engineers moving up to deal with those pioneers. Near it. And there you go, rapid advance from the conscripts results in a hailstorm of bullets from the half-track and the MG42. Conscripts moving up on the right flank. Going for the fuel point. We're certainly seeing here that Giap is certainly a bit strained for fuel at the moment. As Zell keeps up the pressure, going for both fuel points constantly. Oh! Right there, he was actually close to lighting his own men on fire. Though granted, there might have been some grudge involved, I suppose. Those were my biscuits, comrades! Anyways, Conscript holding up, but not for much longer. Rather bold pushes here from Giap, in fact going straight for his opponent, munitions point as well. Definitely a bit unexpected. Also seems like his opponent had not mined this, then again the Minefield Pioneers would certainly not bother with that.
Do you need
So
something?
Giap is rather going heavily on the offensive. Oh dear, that was actually very, very dangerous to it. Climbed up on each other. In fact, still are. But right there, he could have lost them all in one strike. We need to pull back these Cannoneers. Zurückfallen!
You need motor support?
I think Giap is... There we go. I was about to say pushing it heavily. Minefield going up here by the munitions point. Getting very aggressive here. Giap going on an extreme counter-attack, if you will. Veterans one for him before into the arming ground right now would be a good move, particularly versus structures and absolutely tear through them. Like nobody's business. Right here we see Giap executing a very solid counter-attack, taking advantage of his opponent. A bit too focused here to go straight for the jugular. Well played, they need to go for the cut-off point then. Might leave something in here to gut this, but so far good, good. Grenadiers reinforcing. Fuel pump there being secured. Field gun though set up.
Ready. Soldiers ready.
Zell mounting for a counter-attack over to Giap. Return getting a pack 40, half-check needs to get a bit further back. And there you go, Panzerabwehrkanone immobilizing. More minefields up here is going to make it much difficult there for the MG42 to get flanked. Much larger field here. Molotovs up, the note Molotovs don't do that much versus S minefields. They can do a bit, but overall not much of it seems. There you go, pushing forward, there you go, minefield header off there on the conscripts. Almost wiping the half the squad, half-tech line covering fire. MG though needs to get away, almost getting wiped here and cleared out by combined mortar, Molotov fire. Bit unfortunate there for Giap. His otherwise solid counter-attack encountered a slight hiccup there. Shock troopers ready though, hiding over here. Might be going to get that fuel point back, but now Giap is the one with both fuel points. That should give him some time. And there you go, Conscript making a rather aggressive push there for the MG42. Like, Gravgate goes on, maybe the half-tech could finish off there with the MG, maybe a bit of rifle fire there from the Grenadier. Can he make it? Quickly, Yuri, pack it up! And looks like he makes it. Yuri having been a noted thief previously, and thus was actually quite skilled in the ability of stealing something and getting away with it before the police arrived, or in this case the Wehrmacht.
We are ready for action.
Bit of a heavy mortar fight going, and this might once again vacate the premises again.
It is ours.
But Giap losing the right flank rather rapidly. We also need to actually take that bit. He might be going for his bomber company and a fuel cache up. Giap clearly has a plan in mind now. It involves an awful lot of fuel, but so far no commander. Assault support could be an idea. I mean, that could also allow him to just get a Opel Blitz up, which would get him all to the fuel, but also munitions.
It's ready to use.
In fact, noticeably more munitions. Mobile defense, I mean, considering the amount of territory he has, could also work. He could go for some pulling in an Ostrom reserve unit. Jaeger armor, I mean, he's got a half-track, so I suppose we could try with the Regal anti-tank mines, but probably not what I'd recommend. Those just of course be mere observations at the time being. Continue to hold down here, the minefield proving to be a small but high explosive wall, an obstacle which shall shatter their legs and other parts of their anatomy.
That's a grenade!
Quick grenade here, almost takes out the shock troopers. Half-track rushing in, though heavily damaged, he might want to continue getting that repaired. Meanwhile, though, Zell keeps up the pressure on different flanks, slowly moving a force the MG4 ready to keep things covered. No sign of armor from him, though. Could it be he's aiming for doctrinal armor? In the meanwhile, though, Giap setting up a support armor core.
Standing by!
Flampanzerwagen on the way, and that's been a bit of a while since we've seen that one. Flamethrowers.
Ready.
Smell that! Soviets!
And there we go, mines we up, but a light machine gun in the building, veterans too even. That's going to make that a rather dangerous sweeping operation. And there we go, Zell realises that maybe things aren't going to work out so well, though he does have a mortar, so he could essentially just order it to bombard the field and that way set them off. And there we go, Flampanzerwagen. One of the more usual mounts for the flamethrower. The Germans having the sort of more mechanized chassis. They did have a few flamethrower tanks, but usually something like a Panzer II converted for it, or some captured armor. They even had, I believe, a Hetzer armed with a flamethrower. Oh, and a Panzer III actually. So sort of a few things like that, but mostly it was the Mittelschützenpanzerwagen which really saw the flamethrower in usage. Mind you, not in this kind of configuration. Usually they set this sort of thing off, and then there'd be sort of 2 gunners with a gas mask each, manning the other flamethrower bits, I believe. There you go, Panzerkampfwagen on the way. Giap taking advantage of things here. That could certainly end up punching his opponent for aiming for doctrine armor fully. They're rapidly losing the fuel points, of course, is not going to help. Certainly they won't be able to cut off things here due to the fuel cache. And there you go, Panzerkampfwagen here mobilizes, striking fear and bullets into their opponents. And there you go, Flammenpanzerwagen burning away communism, 1 communist at a time. Keeping up pressure here, Panzer IV pushing forward rather aggressively. Pentaman machine on the way. Note that usually these Pinto-mounted machine guns were generally considered for anti-aircraft defense. Occasionally would also be used for infantry, but still largely to sort of try and shoot down low-flying aircraft that might be trying to strafe people. Mine up there, good spot there, good spot there.
Ready for orders. Half-track ready. Our opponents are seizing the
Field gun
sector.
firing. And looks like he's finally been able to gain back that munitions point. Sadly, the Giap has been somewhat losing out by now. The initial glories, rather than falling back a bit, but there you go, Flammenpanzer pushing forwards. Field gun over here. M42 coming things up. Close to getting the after. Oh, field gun set up there, covering nicely. Field coming under fire. Oh, Scheiße! Engine damage on both. Engine damage on both. Oh no! I mean, he could try and go for mobile defense as quickly as possible and then go for Panzer position, but no. Too late, too late. Panzer IV lost there. I mean, it's a quite common spot to mine. I suppose you might have figured he wouldn't mind later on still. Generally something you actually want to be careful around. Instead he tried to push for it and got heavily punished for it. That is a really awkward situation where you end up with 2 vehicles with engines blown out and end up losing a Panzer IV and the flamethrower half-track. That's a lot of resources just went to waste there for Giap. And instead we now see mobile defense has been pulled out. Bit of a delayed reaction. He could try and call in some Ostrom reserves to sort of quickly man up the front line. That might actually work. In particular, he gets a bit lucky and they have some light machine guns and veteranry combined. No, instead he actually goes for a sniper and another MG42. That could also work. That could also work. Of course, Zell is quick to rapidly push forwards, making good ground gains. Shock to by making good use of the wrecked vehicles to actually advance a lot easier on their opponents without taking a lot of fire. It's only a bit of a tragic scene right there for Giap. That was a lot of resources and a lot of good soldiers. Then they're getting caught out in the open, going to be forced back, including the veteran 3 conscript squad in particular, laying down some murderous fire. Giap's positions on the right flank, quickly getting overrun. And Rifle 8 though does a nice job of extinguishing the lives of numerous conscripts. Sniper and MG42 arriving. And we note here a bit of armor has arrived. And it's a K8 flamethrower tank. One, I believe, of the 2 flamethrower tanks or so it's sort of used. Well, largely, I mean, they had some older ones, but overall I think it was the K1. But overall, the primary flamethrower tank was actually one based on the T-34. Which actually swapped out, I believe, the whole machine gun for a flamethrower. And thus did not use a sort of thing like the Surge did with the KB8 was basically a 45mm gun and then there was a flamethrower. So basically the T-34 flamethrower tank could use its main gun and fire flames. Little fun fact, Pushing forwards here. MG42 putting his stop to any direct advances from Giap. Giap does have access now to the command tank or the Puma. A command tank would initially certainly help versus the infantry, but now a Puma is called in, probably try and deal with the KV8 that's going to have a bit of trouble there with the heavy armor, the thick armor. Well, there we go, Puma mobilizing, and time for the mid-game analysis. Counter Jason's Giap is a bit on the back foot, having otherwise executed earlier an excellent attack. Things rather went south for destruction of both the Panzer IV and the Flammpanzerwagen. He's then opted for mobile defense and a Puma. Not saying trying to say quickly get up a Stug or something to make right some longer range firepower, something that could sort of punish the infantry. Or another Panzer IV, but instead a Puma. And sort of hopes probably dealing the KV-8, and of course might be able to deal with that, but at the same time, once that's out, the Puma will be largely ineffective, since it is really ineffective against infantry, largely meaning that the larger part of Zell's force, the Puma won't be able to do much against. That's definitely going to be a bit of a perilous situation then for Giap in some regards. Though then again, if he can get the KV-8, of course, I imagine he'll be quite happy, since the KV-8 will be a massive threat to the infantry. Plus the fuel cache, for example. So there's definitely some dangerous situations there. Of course, the question is how will Giap handle it, and how can he handle it? I definitely think, at least, I mean, with the Puma, you should consider something to sort of support and make up for the weakness of Stug, or a Flak Panzer would probably help with sort of the infantry department, the Stug of course, and then also provide further anti-tank firepower, which I think would also be quite handy. A Panzer IV command tank would also be an excellent idea, since it would provide the defensive bonus, and of course could also be used to strengthen the Puma a bit more, allowing it to take further frontal shots, for example, since the Puma is rather lightly armoured and also with low health. So those are some options. Then Ostrom reserve unit could then also sort of be followed up, maybe with a bit of counter-attack tactics to rapidly then seize ground back. That could work against Zell here. For Zell, I mean, he's got a much stronger force, he's also got a much stronger hand compared to his opponent. I mean, it's not completely down the drain here for Giap. I mean, he's still got a bit of a damage lead and a kill lead, but things could also be looking better for Giap. But for Zell right now, I mean, he needs to sort of keep at it, but at the same time not get utterly senseless, which some players can do in sort of a bit more ascending situation. Begin throwing away units, thinking you can just, you know, wipe out your opponent. You certainly have to be a bit careful around packs and such, but at the same time, in a 1 versus 1 situation between the KV and a single pack, I mean, the KV will easily win. Of course, he could consider then saving up for an IS-2 to then sort of further cement things and also prepare himself for any further armour that might arrive from his opponent. That would not be an entirely bad idea either. Mines on the flanks would be good, or maybe some usage of incendiary artillery barrages to sort of make Giap's defences a bit more untenable. Those would certainly be an idea. I mean, he could also consider aiming for some non-doctrine arm, but the concentration and also considering the way he's been holding on to the fuel, it might not be so necessary. But let us return to the fight. Nur die Kampf.
Okay, we're under attack!
Sniper here killing away, but not very much effectively. And there you go, KV-8 taking a nice hit from pack 40. Puma arrives, shots bounce off. Need to get behind it there. Yeah. KV-8 well, not in trouble. Incendiary rounds and the KV-8 bursts the pack 40. Puma there having not much luck there with the front arm, and it's 15mm gun. Needs to try and flank it, but at the same time, as soon as he tries that, of course, Zell has already pulled up the field guns to cover the rear. So the Puma will need to fall back before it's too late, at the very least pop some smoke. KV-8 though did take some damage, but ultimately the KV-8 did more.
Ready!
And he could even end up losing a Pat 40 then to his opponent. Puma though falls back without a single kill. And the damage he's actually done will be mended as soon as possible.
You have orders? Moving up the run!
Large infantry counter assault going in, but at the same time a bit clamped up. That could make it a bit vulnerable to an MG42 from Zell.
You need something built? Hold the line!
So Zell's enough not trying to repair his KV-8 right away. That might be a chance. There we go, the Puma trying to flank in, but again not quite able to sort of fully exploit it due to its inability to sort of really seriously deal with it.
Enemy fire!
Even in negative cover. Grenadiers, on the other hand, save the day, forcing back the infantry, ensuring the Puma can get away reasonably safely. Constantly moving up, he might try and make a rush for it. That will definitely be bad news for the Puma. But there you go, actually gets off hit, killing 2 Russians in one go. Small victory for the Puma. Schwerer punches B-Wagen. The more progressive was actually shifted up for heavy armoured cars with bigger guns. On the other hand, no turrets. Bit of smoke there to sort of cover the retreat. Good.
Standing by.
But ultimately not much to show so far for the resources he spending on it.
Find some cover, engineer!
Could consider calling in a Stug right now. That might run him with a bit of firepower again. Flak Panzer could also be on the cards. if you wait sufficiently enough. Never mind, he summons up a second Puma. Another schwerer Panzerwagen.
Your command?
The hard part will be keeping it.
And usually they were in fact formed into platoons of 2. Or squadrons or whatever they call that.
What do you have for us?
So, little fun fact there.
Granada! Laying smoke!
Nice smoke grenade there, by the way, to cover up, and showing the sniper can't get them.
Mortar crew ready.
Now, of course, you could also use this mortar to lay down the smoke barrage. But no, nothing like that it would seem.
We have it.
There we go. Puma's on the move.
We serve.
Bit of fire there.
Awaiting orders.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Though without doing a lot of damage, despite barraging their opponents. KV8 moving forward, field gun though keeping covered. Shot there. Bit of black damage on the K1, Puma's firing. And there go, nice intended shot there from the conscript, who Nick can't do much. No action whatsoever on the left flank, that's largely been ignored by our erstwhile opponents.
We have enemy armor. Hide. Taking small arms fire.
So there's Morton, a bit of an adventure there as it rapidly pulls back. But most of the action now seems to be around the field point. Giap desperately trying to get away, Zell holding on, but with a much greater ease with the KV8 and field gun. He's overall got a nasty combination,
Standing by.
which is going to require a rather rapid flank assault, even then the flank is really covered by another pack 40, so it's going to be rather dangerous to take that on. Grenadiers here, they're almost getting the shocks, but at the end looks like the shocks will be able to force away the Grenadiers, maybe the Molotovs had a hand in things. Further fighting around the munitions spot. Puma's falling back, maybe realising they can't do much here.
Yes.
Certainly not a bad thought.
Engineers, report contact!
Engineer squad.
Heavy armor here.
KV advances, burns away those Grenadiers.
Armored car.
Puma though saves the day. No target weak point, though he could have used that maybe, but then again with the field guns nearby, probably wouldn't be able to do much with it.
Sector is at risk.
Pack 40 mobilising. And finally some movement on the left flank once more from Giap, in hopes of taking back things.
AT gun here. We have an isolated sector.
The situation looking grim for Giap.
With the enemy.
The MD-42 doing his best to form a zone of denial to any opposing infantry towards that one munitions point.
Sniper fire!
Almost getting the engineers there, in fact, nice combination of MD-5. There we go, the K8 pushes forward, it's Puma firing away. Pack 40 also getting off a few good shots, then there we go, KV8 taking heavy damage here. Veteran 2 for the Puma, which results in a higher rate of fire and ultimate accuracy, which actually makes it slightly more likely to actually kill infantry, although it's really wanted hit veterans if fleet sort of becomes a bit more effective versus infantry, it seems. It's a shame.
What do you want? The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Ready.
Brave infantry have made the
Looks
ultimate
like
sacrifice.
Zell actually lost a unit, and can't entirely tell what. Oh, looks like the Puma's actually got it.
Enemy armor.
A small victory there. Yeah.
Engineers.
There were a bit of reckless move there by Zell, didn't
There
achieve
are
much.
no cowards here.
More forces mobilising. Few though, ever so lowly streaming in there to Giap. Grab grenade there. Almost hit the trick. But ultimately not quite. Of course, we do see here that Zell is quick to ensure that the field gun is providing coverage. Ensuring that any Puma that tries to move up to much there. And there we go. Puma score another kill.
Incendiary artillery barrage ready to fire.
Enemy contact.
Swing forcing.
You have orders?
secure. All units are here.
And interesting enough, Zell actually calls in another KV-8. One would have figured he might actually aim for an IS-2, but no. He actually aimed for another KV-8. That would seem to indicate he's feeling rather confident and maybe more wants to focus on the infantry and other units instead of maybe dealing with enemy armor. In that regard, of course, if he's confident, of course, that there won't be any armor of any serious capacity, and that, of course, I mean, it could make sense. And certainly the KV-8 certainly has no issue striking off most of the shots there from the Pumas even then. Sniper caught there. In fact, he's able to actually cause quite a bit of harm there to Giap that the IS-2 might not quite be able to do. It's the same when the KV-8 is a really great unit once you've, for example, broken through the lines and just basically go nuts amongst your opponent's units. There you go. Pack 40 down, the Pumas still strike down. Fear guns, of course, quick to cover, drawing in the heavy armored cars into a kill zone. Can't support one down there though for Zell and the Soviet Union. Pumas, they've just bounced off their shots. Now they're temporarily catching it. Zell once more almost baiting Giap there with his KV-8. But sadly, not much luck here for the Pumas, despite best intentions. In the end, the Pumas simply aren't able to do much, since, for example, even if they sort of managed to somehow get past the Pack 40s, they couldn't really do much against them, since, again, they'll just miss most of the time.
Heavy tanks standing by.
Conscripts ready and willing.
And of course the infantry are basically not taking much harm as the Pumas firing away. Rapidly bombarding. The veteran 2-1 now having a slightly higher chance of actually killing, to of course get a few more kills.
This is our territory now.
But beyond that, not exactly achieving much in the name of Germany. And Reich.
We are ready for anything. You need heavy armor support. Squad! Enemy forces capturing supply sector. Heavy armor ready to build it or blow it.
And Pack 40 actually gets off enough as 3 hits there on the KV-8. Intending artillery going down there to cover up the centre victory point. Good. Massive assault going in here. A bit of a bow move there with an MU-42, but at the same time I suppose it's too much fire, and we do see that Zell rather quickly deals with that, and the Puma sadly unable to really provide much support for the situation again, then a bit to deal with infantry, rather leaving them much limited. And also lastly, why most people don't actually use them, I suspect. In fact, I think Giap is one of the few people who sort of regularly uses them. He's certainly doing quite a good job in keeping them alive, but again, can't quite get off any damage with them. There's the other running eyes coming by the veteran. Shots with a flamethrower. Veteran 3 even. Pumas there desperately trying to punish them. Getting one more soul in the process, but beyond that, no greater amount of luck.
Red Army at your service.
Giap, though desperately penned in, can't be repaired. We do note that Zell is actually beginning to slowly bleed out of infantry.
Armor has spotted us.
Lots of heavy fire there from a Puma, none of it really doing much, just kicking up dirt and leaving the conscript's uniforms dirty.
Watch out for that tank.
Over to Giap. Ever beleaguered. Another sniper on the way. Barely any fuel going in. It looks like he ends up calling GG, realizing that the game, these ended up in a bit of a corner there and simply cut break out. So, game over here. Bit of a vicious fight there. Giap sort of instructing initially, but then following up with a nice counter-attack, really pushing back his opponent, but ultimately ending up with a slight mistake here, underestimating his opponent, losing Panzer IV and the Flamethrower Half in one go. That was really one of those things that really cost him overall, making things much more difficult. And then he opted then for mobile defense. Maybe had he chosen earlier, he could have sort of prepared things a bit better. Instead, though, it was a bit late, ended up being a lot more reactive. Then he sort of then used the Pumas, in which case all of a sudden he ended up in a much more dangerous situation because the Pumas really aren't good offensively to a certain extent, unless your opponent has a lot of sort of medium or lighter armor. Except his opponent has a lot of infantry, which then extremely limited the utility of the Pumas. And of course the other thing he had was heavier armor, which the Pumas then largely also struggled with because they couldn't get through the frontal armor. So in that regard, this choice ended up being a bit of a crippling blow to Giap. Sadly, probably should have aimed for further armor from here. I mean, he could have used this maybe some Muslim reserves and counter-attack, maybe a Panzer IV command tank. Instead, he largely relied on the Pumas, and that, I think, then ended up largely costing him the game. I mean, assault support might in fact have worked out better for the Noble Blitz, maybe an officer, and then maybe saving up for some other things, though of course that was merely my opinion. Zell, though, played quite nice aggressively several times, sort of catching Giap in a bind. Good use of mind again. This one proved to be absolutely critical to his efforts. Had he not gotten that one off and Giap had not driven 2 units in it, Giap could probably have won. Instead, though, he had a nice unit combination, good use of field guns, keeping things covered, ensuring to sort of basically limit the mobility of the Pumas as much as possible, since again, they can't take a lot of shots, and the way basically ensured they would not be able to creep up and get past them. In particular, since the KV basically spotted anything, so that was really a nice defensive net here, basically ensuring the Pumas could not get past. And overall, the KV then ended up being a good decision because, well, he largely didn't have to worry about the Pumas. They were basically non-entities, which allowed him to solely focus on the infantry. So overall, a very nice sort of set of reactions there from Zell, punishing his opponent, Giap doing his best, but again, the Puma really is limited in utility right now, and I am having a very hard time recommending it. I mean, if you can get a bit better versus infantry, you'd probably be alright, but as long as it is as right now, I can't really. Anyways, this is Imperial Dane saying cheers. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you had some fun. If you did, feel free to subscribe to my channel. The more subscribers, the better. Feel free to share with everyone you put out on forums, whatever. I mean, you don't have to ask for permission, though occasionally get some. Can I post your videos here? Feel free to post them. The more that sees them, the better. Also, feel free to donate to my channel, since that does help me keep things going. There's a little link to PayPal down there in the description, so a few dollars here and there certainly also helps me in the longer run. If you didn't like it, of course, don't donate, don't subscribe, don't whatever, though feel free to post some feedback, I'll see what I can do about it. Also, feel free to post your own replays, send them in to propagandacast@gmail.com. Please provide a link to where you are on the leaderboards if possible. That really makes things a lot easier for me. So, this is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and see you tomorrow.